Revelation 10. Then I saw another mighty angel coming down from heaven. He was robed in a cloud with a rainbow above his head. His face was like the sun, and his legs were like fiery pillars.
All right, in the last chapter, we had the fifth and sixth trumpets. Now, there's 7 trumpets, and just like the seals, we had all 6 of the seals described in chapter 6. Well, not all 6, but the first 6 were described in chapter 6. And then chapter 7 was a break, an interlude, to talk about the 144,000 and the innumerable Gentiles that were saved or marked. And then chapter 8 hits the trumpet. And there's also a break in the trumpets. You have the first 6, and then you have this break in chapter 10, awaiting the last trumpet. I don't know what that means. I just think it's interesting that before the last seal and before the last trumpet, there's a break or an interlude, and a discussion of something else right before the last one.
He was holding a little scroll which lay open in his hand. He planted his right foot on the sea and his left foot on the land, and he gave a loud shout like the roar of a lion. When he shouted, the voice of the 7 thunders spoke. And when the 7 thunders spoke, I was about to write, but I heard a voice from heaven say, "Seal up what the 7 thunders have said, and do not write it down."
Now, this is very interesting. I would really like to know what these 7 thunders spoke. But John was told not to write it down and not to relay that message. Now, the only thing that comes to my mind is that maybe the 7 thunders kind of interpreted some of this stuff for John. He told him what it meant so that John would understand it better. But he said, when you write it down, I don't want everybody to understand the details of exactly what this means. You know, some truth was withheld from you and I and anybody who would read or hear this book at this point. John was revealed something, but he didn't reveal it to us. And we can only speculate about what that would have been. My speculation is a better understanding of what this stuff means.
Then the angel I had seen standing on the sea and on the land raised his right hand to heaven, and he swore by him who lives forever and ever, who created the heavens and all that is in them, the earth and all that is in it, and the sea and all that is in it, and said, "There will be no more delay. But in the days when the 7th angel is about to sound his trumpet, the mystery of God will be accomplished, just as he announced to his servants the prophets."
All right, now this cannot be overlooked. This is a key element that rings true throughout the book of Revelation. There are so many time statements that say this is about to take place. The things that I'm writing and the things that you're reading or hearing are things that are imminent. It's going to happen very soon. And he says, when the 7th angel sounds his trumpet. So we've heard 6 now, and we're waiting for the 7th. When the 7th sounds, the mystery of God will be accomplished, completed, or finished, just as he announced to his servants, the prophets. So all the messianic prophecies that we have in the Old Testament, which include Daniel's 70-week prophecy of Daniel chapter 9, he says it will be accomplished. All these things will be accomplished, and there will be no more delay. We will have complete fulfillment of all messianic prophecies when in the days that the 7th angel sounds his trumpet. So imminent fulfillment of the entire book of Revelation and the entire Old Covenant prophecies will not be delayed any longer. Complete fulfillment is imminent.
Then the voice that I had heard from heaven spoke to me once more. Go, take the scroll that lies open in the hand of the angel who is standing on the sea and on the land. So I went to the angel and asked him to give me the little scroll. He said to me, take it and eat it.
Now, I don't know. See, it says this scroll is opened, and I wonder if that's the same scroll that Jesus had just broken the 7 seals on. Did this angel bring the opened scroll down for John to eat? Seems reasonable to me. It doesn't specifically say it. It just says it's a little scroll. But it also says it's open, which would indicate that its seals had been broken. And we have just studied in the earlier chapters of Revelation the breaking of the 7 seals of a scroll that unleashed a lot of destruction and chaos on the earth.
It will turn your stomach sour, but in your mouth it will be as sweet as honey.
I wonder what Ezekiel 3:3 says. But it's essentially good news, bad news. I have some good news and some bad news. This scroll will taste great in your mouth, but it's going to sit harshly on your stomach.
I took the little scroll from the angel's hand and ate it. It tasted as sweet as honey in my mouth. But when I had eaten it, my stomach turned sour. Then I was told, you must prophesy again about many peoples, nations, languages, and kings.
So he's saying, John, you have some good news and some bad news to give out to other people. You're going to prophesy about many peoples, nations, languages, and kings. About the Gentiles. You have a prophecy for the Gentiles. But that does not mean that his prophecy is going to reach out 2,000 plus years into the future, because we just talked about verse 7, where he says, in the days of the 7th angel, the mystery of God will be accomplished, just as he announced to his servants, the prophets. And he says, you have some good news and some bad news. I mean, goodness, it is... The good news, I think, that John is portraying in the book of Revelation is that God is in control, and God protects whoever he chooses to protect. Whoever he seals and protects are safe from harm. Even if they die, because there are many Christian martyrs that die in the book of Revelation, even when they die, their God still takes care of them, and they are better off after they die than before they die. And God doesn't immediately rescue or vindicate all the martyrs. He says, wait a little while. Some more people need to die just like you did. So a lot of death and destruction on the earth. That's the bad news. The good news is God is in control, and he protects whomever he wills to protect. And just like that scroll, when John cried in chapter 5 of Revelation, because nobody could open it, they wanted to open it so badly. But then when they did, it just brought destruction and death and chaos. It's kind of like being sweet in your mouth, but being bitter in your stomach. You want something real bad, but then after you eat it, it makes you sick. So, I think the key point here that really you can't neglect is verse 7, that in the days of the 7th trumpet, the mystery of God will be accomplished. He says there is no more delay. And verse 6, there will be no more delay. Complete fulfillment is at hand.